What's going on, sexy people? You are now tuned in to the Sex Mechanic podcast with myself, the Sex Mechanic, aka Jinx Benoit, aka Mr. Born to Explore, aka I Did It My Way, and the lovely Miss Joanne.
I'm happy to be back again.
And so are we. You already know we love you out here. Oh, let me go ahead and not forget to press my audio because I always tend to do that. Okay, cool. That's on now. So, you're back for another episode, episode number 19 on the Sex Mechanic podcast, where we like to discuss dating, sex, situationships, and our experiences around those topics. And today's no different. We're going to get into it again. And first, we're going to start off with a segment of appreciation. You know, what we appreciate in a partner or in a situationship or whatever the case may be.
We're being specific,
Excuse me. What do you mean by being specific?
like just not what we appreciate in general, just in a
No,
relationship.
not. I
I mean,
guess we
no, it
can do
works
in
for me. I
general.
just want to know if that's
We can do in general because I have a somewhat general one today. Um, yeah, general is fine. Uh, I appreciate having people I can call for different things. You know, like if I'm dealing with something or if I have questions on specific types of issues or just questions about certain things, I can call certain people. And I know some people don't have that. So I really am very appreciative. I've got a long list. I don't even want to start the list because I know I'm probably going to leave somebody out. I don't want to leave anybody out. But I've got friends and family that are loving and helpful and uh, usually there when I need them. And I appreciate that. And welcome to my cousin.
you want to
Rebecca.
read her comment? Because I second that. I,
Hope you remember to use the bathroom before. Oh, really? That's what we're doing? We starting
I,
off early with the shade.
but I second that.
Wow. The
I
shadiness
second that.
starts early. All right. You know what? I hope the same for y'all too, because I wouldn't want y'all to miss any parts
I'm an
of the
adult.
show.
I know how to hold it. I know how to,
Oh, that's what we're doing.
I'm just
Okay.
saying. We
You
learned
know,
that in grade school.
I appreciate having people in my life who are not going to talk shit, but I can't
Your
always say that
no,
that's the
your
case.
appreciation segment is over.
You know,
You've already said what you appreciated. I think it was one per. I don't know. I think when we were going over the format, you were like one.
I don't remember that shit. But all right, go ahead. Your turn, Joanne.
So I'm gonna stick to what you said. Um, I can appreciate when I'm in a relationship and the person is proactive
Mm,
and or I don't know if proactive is the word, but yeah, I guess proactive like sees something that needs to be handled and handles it.
hmm.
Yeah. Or pays attention, I think is where I'm going. If I mention casually that I like something or whatever, if I see that on a birthday gift, it's kind of like, oh, okay, this person pays attention.
And
They're
listen to the
picking up on
details and.
cues.
Hmm.
Yes.
You might have mentioned something early on when you guys started talking, and then they remembered it,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Okay, that is nice to have. You really feel listened to, and
Yes.
like kind of valid at that point. Like what I'm saying is being taken in.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's a good one. I like that. Let's cheers or toast. Hold on, let me move. Sorry, because I gotta move your comment. All right, toast to episode number 19. Delivery. Oh, but I was told that I leave for certain things. You see this? The double standard is crazy. Even on my own podcast, the double standard is real. I hope y'all see this out there. But
I did
anyway,
not get up to use the restroom.
huh? What's up?
Huh? What's that?
Oh, okay, my bad. Um, what do you have there?
I have a hot toddy in addition
Mm,
to my hard seltzer.
nice. Okay. Well, I hope both of them make you feel better if you're not feeling great right now.
Thank you. I don't have COVID. Let's put that out there, okay? It's not
All
what the
right.
hot toddy is for.
Good to
I feel
know.
like I gotta put that disclaimer out.
Good to know. So let's get into some stuff today.
Let's.
Um, I want to know. what are the signs? You don't have to give me all of them because I know that that's letting out, certain secrets, maybe the cat out the bag. You don't want to do that. But what are some of the signs that you put out that let a person you're with or a person you're dealing with know that you're ready for that action? Like what says, hey, it's time to go outside of just like obviously you saying, hey, I'm ready for it right now.
Is this someone that I've already been intimate with, or this is kind of like a new?
Good question. I'm glad you asked. We're gonna go for both.
So if this is a new situation,
Mhm.
I don't give any signs.
It's just like that person needs to
Yeah,
be assertive and then just kind of like
yeah,
jump on it, and hopefully
hmm
you're with
yeah.
it.
Hopefully, I'm receptive.
Got you.
I
Okay.
mean, because I could be ready, but I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna put out any. I'm not.
Got you. Okay, that's fair.
If this is someone I'm already been intimate with, we've already been there.
Mhm.
You know what? I don't know because every relationship is different. Like with my ex, we had code words, like very
Mm.
like non-assuming stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like we could be in a room with people and well, whatever. He'll be like, 'cause I'm like, that makes
He
sense
said, "Oh,
for.
whatever."
So he'll be like, we should really throw a party. Party is the word.
Mm,
So I'm like,
uh-huh.
okay, yeah, we should soon. Let's get the party going soon.
I
With
used to
my
I used
most recent
Mhm.
person, I call them the thought eyes, the little emoji, the little double eyes
Mhm.
emoji. I call them the thought eyes. But either he or I would send the eyes, and the other one would send it twice, and then we knew, like, okay,
It's confirmation.
it's confirmation. Once you get the double eyes back, you already know it's okay.
I remember in college, I was dealing with somebody, and we used to say, "Let's go take a nap." Now,
I like that.
yeah, because we used to have the same class together, and it wasn't like we was, out here saying it in front of everybody, but just in case we were out, after class or something or during class, whatever. Like, we should go take a nap after this. And so these were good naps, really good naps.
I believe
Some of my
you.
best. Um, okay, uh, so how about somebody you said so somebody you haven't been with, they don't really get any signs. They just need to know, hey, they need to feel the vibe, basically.
They need to feel the vibe, and I'm like one extreme to the other. Because if I'm not really sure about you yet, or if I'm really not feeling you, I'm not affectionate. But if I
Mm,
like you, I'm very affectionate. But like I'm touching your shoulder in public. I want to hold your hand. I want to be like, sitting next to you at dinner. So that also doesn't necessarily mean that, I'm ready to take it to that level, but you wouldn't like you're on the right path.
got you. Oh, that
So
could be kind of tricky though. Like if somebody doesn't
yeah.
know that you're affectionate, if you like them, and they just kind of like take what you give them in the beginning, it's just like, all right, well, I guess she's just not the affectionate type.
Yeah. Yeah.
That could
Yeah.
kind of throw some people off.
Yeah, I can.
But I mean, at the same time, too, if you stick around long enough, then you can find out that it's different. But
Maybe.
somebody like me would probably feel like, wait a minute, is she changing up on me? Like, because she didn't used to be like this. Why is she acting
What do you mean?
different
Like if
now?
I'm all of a sudden affectionate?
Yeah, yeah. I'd
Yeah,
be
I
like
do that
wondering,
too sometimes, and I get that response like, "Are you
are you
okay?"
okay? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But usually when I'm like that, I'm really iffy anyway about the person. Cause
Hmm.
we could go out one day and I'm like, yo, I'm really feeling him today. And I'm affectionate. And
Mm.
he's like, oh, okay. And then we go out the next day and I'm back to I
Wow.
know
You talk
it's
about
confusing.
confusion. I would be
But
confused.
it's that's just how my emotions are. I don't know.
So, like you said, that's if you're iffy. If you really like the person, you know it. There's not going to be a lot of back and forth. It's going to be pretty consistent, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that
Yeah.
that makes sense then. That's kind of like you're still feeling the person out.
Because then I'm gonna be like, let's just share clothes. Like let's both wear the shirt at the same time. The sharing shirt. Let's both just like I want to be all up under you. Once I like you, like it's a wrap. I'm annoying. And I'm
Okay.
annoyed with myself in the moment, but I don't care. Like I want to just
He
Like,
said, I'm annoyed with myself.
I am. Like, it's true. I'm like, girl,
He
what the,
like, I'm
what's wrong?
doing too much.
Yes. And I will still do it. I'll be like, girl, you are doing a lot right now. I'm like, okay, well, I'm still gonna do it. So
Oh my god, that is funny as hell, yo.
so what are your what are your giveaways?
So first, I want to acknowledge the comment, and then I'll give mine. Uh, Cuz said lingerie, so that's I'm assuming somebody you're already involved with or have been intimate with. It could be somebody else too. I'm just assuming. I
But you
don't
know
know.
what? I have something to say about that.
What's up?
Because especially if I'm like dating the guy, like he will probably only see me in lingerie once
I mean, like ever?
ever, unless he
Oh,
requests it.
oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
Because it will like in the beginning, like after we kind of break the ice and have sex, like maybe after that I'll wear it. But then it's like we ain't got
You
time
know
to waste.
we
Like let's just go.
exactly.
We
We know we're here for it. Pretty much.
exactly. I
Yeah.
have so much lingerie. I mean, with tags on them for like
Wow.
yeah, with tags.
That makes sense though. Especially lingerie is something that usually comes off. So
No, why
yeah,
waste time? Why wasting time?
I'm not gonna lie. I like lingerie for special occasions. If if something comes up, a birthday or something special, cool. I like that because I like kind of like to play in the beginning sometimes, but most of the time I'm just like you and I want to let's get to it. Let's stop playing around and we could play, but let's play more physically, you know, with touching and stuff. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Mine are I don't okay. So if I'm with somebody, I do have stuff for sure. If I'm dealing with somebody, I will definitely give some eyes, like real eyes, not texting. I'm looking at you a certain way that's like, I'm gonna get to you, right? You know what's coming, right? Like as long as you know, and I'm giving her the eyes that are kind of like, once we leave here or whatever the situation is, once we get to a place where we can, it's definitely going down. So mine is mostly the eyes. I'm already affectionate, so I'm not like extra affectionate when I'm in the mood. Um, and I could kind of get in the mood very easily, so I don't need to be in the mood to like, do certain things.
Surprise,
Like,
surprise.
right? The sex mechanic, has trouble getting in the
I was
mood.
more so
It
saying
doesn't
that
have
because
anything.
you're a man, but
That too. That too. If he's attracted to you, then he can get, he can get in the mood at any point in time, most of the time, unless he's going through something outside of that. But yeah, it's mostly the eyes. It's the look. I give a look that's kind of like what's about to happen. Um, but if it's somebody I haven't been intimate with sexually, I have literally no signs. Like it really is just off of
so
vibe
how do
because
you test the waters?
I don't test waters. I let the woman, for the most part, give me as many signs as she can give me to where I'm like, okay, that's the green light because I'm big on consent too. So I don't want to. I don't want to. So I don't ever want to be put in a place or a position where I've taken the sign wrong, which I have been before, and it was kind of embarrassing. It's kind of embarrassing.
You know how you want to be like poor little tink tink.
So let me tell you what happened one time, right? Which I mean, it honestly was my fault that I assumed, but so there was this woman, right? This was our first time. We were at this event or whatever the case may be, and it was a days long event. It was like a workshop, and so we had days to kind of like get to know each other, but still, we'd only known each other for maybe a couple of days, but we connected pretty well. And so there was one night where we were kind of making out and doing all the other stuff, and most clothes was off already because again it's a workshop, but it was a sexuality workshop, so you know people were a little bit more.
This was in the middle of a workshop.
No, it
I'm sorry. I
was.
was, and I'm sitting here like I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I have the attention span of a 5-year-old. I really do. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, I've been listening, but did I miss the part where he said, like, did you see my face? I was like,
I
okay.
did. It wasn't during the workshop. It was
I'm
like
about to say,
after.
come on,
It was
Jesus. Like,
after. It was after the workshop. But what happened to my mic? I lost my sound, y'all. Hold on. Give me a
we
second.
can hear you.
Barely though. I could definitely tell the difference in my headphones. All right, how about that? That sounds better.
I hear you fine.
Okay. Well, we were. It was after the workshop.
Yeah, I
You
think you
know,
need to say that. Make that
after
distinction.
hours, right? So there's some touching, there's some kissing, that kind of thing going on. And in my past experience, when things are progressing in that way, it tends to move towards sex, like intercourse. And so I was already prepared. I had my protection with me, and I did something that I don't usually do. I pulled the protection out before the woman actually said, "Hey, let's do this," and I don't usually do that. I usually like to let the woman be like, "Hey, I'm ready for it," and then that gives me the okay or the go, that the green light, that we could go ahead and do that. And it also lets me know too that she's like really really ready. A woman typically won't say that until she's like, "Yeah, I'm ready for it right now. Like, stop playing with me." Um, in my experience, maybe you can confirm or deny, but I don't know.
Just sip in my Earl Grey, child.
Your Earl Grey with a twist. Um, so I pulled it out, right, the condom, and she was like, "What's that for?" Or like, why do you have that or whatever. And basically the conversation went like, "Oh, I assumed the way things were going that we were kind of moving in that direction." And that's a lesson for all of y'all about um, consent and the way consent works. Just because just because things are moving in a certain direction, or things are getting hot and heavy, or whatever you want to call it, it does not mean that the person wants to actually have intercourse with you, or is ready to have intercourse with you, or willing to move further than wherever you're at the moment. So it's kind of a slippery slope when you're talking about how to know when to advance as a man. My best advice is to allow the woman to let you know when she's ready, um, and she will let you know when she's ready. Especially if you're not moving on whatever signs she's giving you, and things are progressing, she's gonna definitely let you know. Stop playing with me. I'm ready. So yeah, we had that conversation, and it was an interesting conversation about consent, and I learned in terms of I didn't really learn. It was more like a reminder that it's always a good move to just let the woman lead when it comes to that, and see if she's ready for it or not. That also allows me to let the woman be fully aroused and ready for whatever is going to come next too. So I want to hear your perspective on that as a woman.
It's
Um,
just very my personal take. It's
mhm.
not controversial. I was about to say it's controversial. It's not really, because I've had conversations with other women and men about this specifically, and we've all been in agreement that we've either been that person or we've experienced it. Where, so as part of my regular job, I discuss consent a lot, like day in and day out. It
Mhm.
can be given and revoked at any time. Yada yada yada. I know this.
Mhm.
However,
I know where you're going too.
I I don't know. When I'm ready, I like to be submissive. I think I mentioned that before.
Mhm.
So I like the man to be like the aggressor. Now, if I'm not in that space, I'm gonna be like, nah. But I feel like, and again, this is not the right thing to say, but I feel like the man could tell when the no is like no, or when the no is like no, like stop. So it's kind of, I know.
Believe it or
Listen,
not.
I know, I know. I know, and I teach this, or my facilitators teach this, and we're like, listen, somebody say no, hang it up,
That's it.
turn
Hmm.
Netflix back on. But sometimes I know don't mean no.
So you see, I
I know,
understand exactly where you're coming from, and the only issue is that some people don't. All right,
right?
even me, somebody who feels like I'm pretty well versed in the in the space of like female male relations when it comes to sexuality and all that other stuff. I misread, and so if I can misread, I know for damn sure there's somebody else out there who's maybe less experienced and maybe not as not as aware of the nuances of that kind of interaction to definitely misread.
But you know,
So
also I've only ever been like that with one person, which was my ex.
okay,
So we knew, we knew, we we were here.
got you. Okay, so y'all were together too. It
Yeah,
seems
we were
like y'all are
together. So
already together, so
I've
it's no different.
never really been like that with anyone else, but that is a turn on to me. I don't, I guess not comfortable enough to take it there with someone else, but that's like a
Now, I've actually had this conversation with a woman recently, and well, let me ask this question first, from being me perfectly. Did that make the rest of the night awkward between the two of you? Not really, being that the other person's within the same field of sexology. We can talk about sex a lot easier than most people are comfortable to talk about sex. So we were able to talk about it. Um, Again, it was a little embarrassing, but besides that, it wasn't like I kept that embarrassment the whole night. It was just more like,
you don't
oops,
even
that's
embarrass
rude.
easily.
So maybe embarrassing is not even a word. It's more like it was definitely a shock and kind of I was taken aback, like, oh shit. And especially being in that position, I never want to be looked at as somebody who's overly aggressive or trying to take something from somebody. That's
But I
something that
understand that too, because sometimes I'm in the mood for just that kissing, heavy petting, and I don't want to take it to the next level. That
exactly.
gets kind of frustrating too, because oftentimes the guy's like, okay, but then he's right back trying to go to the next level. And at that point, it's like, all right,
Now you turned off.
we're just going to, oh, completely.
Exactly. And you see, and that's why I say it's a slippery slope, y'all. And the best bet, even if she doesn't prefer it, is for her to, even in frustration, to say, "Give it to me now." It's easier to deal with than than the other side, and it's probably a better. And then as you guys go more and more, you'll get to know each other more. But I think even what's for me at least, I like to have a conversation about sex beforehand, not like right before we have sex. And I know we've talked about this, right? But the type of person I am, I like to see where things are, and that
So
way.
what type of questions are you asking beforehand?
So, uh, not anything specific, not like, oh, what do you like, and this, that, and the other. I don't want to know that in a conversation. I want to know that during sex. I want to learn you through sex. But I'm talking about like kind of like what are your viewpoints? Kind of see where you're at in terms of sex. Do you typically have sex with people you're not in a relationship with, or or not? I wouldn't ask if you typically have sex with people you're not in a relationship with, or do you feel okay with, like casual relationships, blah blah. Ask different questions about sex in general, not specific questions about what what this person's sexual preferences are. That to me, I don't care. I say I don't care,
But
but I want to
like
learn that.
that,
I want to learn that as we continue on. But general questions I think are important. I have in the past, um, not in the past, but like dating, you ask like, who's the last person you've been with, or when were you with the last person? Because that's more of a safety issue. Um, is there somebody you're talking to now? Blah blah. Like really, to me, basic questions that people should talk about more, but they don't because they feel weird about bringing up certain things, and But go ahead. What were you gonna say though?
I was gonna say like that's a slippery slope with me, because I mean, a huge turn off and a major, a way to get me to instantly stop talking to you is to
Mhm.
bring up sex in any capacity before I feel like we're even on that level. And as of late, I've found that a lot of I wouldn't say a lot, like I'm meeting guys every day, but like past couple of guys that I probably met out or something, like that's why we stopped talking, because like I've known you 2 weeks and you're like, oh, and I was like, well, that's very
Well, what
presumptuous
what
of
kind of
you.
what kind of questions though are you talking about?
Oh my God. This one just blew my mind. So I'm on a few
Okay.
dating apps, and I was on one of them, and I matched with this guy and I went to go send him a message. And for some reason, this GIF of like a water buffalo or something came on. I'm like, what is that? So,
Okay.
and it doesn't give you the option to unsend. So, and this is our first ever interaction. So I said, hey, I'm sorry. I don't know how that GIF popped up, LOL, but how are you? And he's like, "What is that, anyways? Is it a water buffalo?" And I'm like, "I don't know. LOL. It might be a wildebeest. But how was your day?" And he goes, "Is that you? Are you a wild beast?" And I was like, "You know what? You know what?"
Wait.
I was like, I
Okay.
sat there looking at it like,
I
what?
just told you it was. I don't know where it came from. Okay. There's a lot of things wrong with that comment. Like, first of all, you're not paying attention. You're not listening well. I just told you I have no idea where this thing
I don't even
came
think, I
from.
think he was just trying to take it sexually. I think he was trying to say, "Are you wild in bed?"
Ah.
And I was like, you know what, let me not just assume that. So I showed it to both of my coworkers and they were like, yeah. The only person I showed it to that took it differently was my best friend. She's like, "No, I think, it was just a joke gone wrong." I'm like, this is not a joke gone wrong. I felt like there was sexual undertones to it. And
Of
I was immediately
course.
turned off. Like I didn't even respond to him anymore. Like that's it. Now that's it. Like we're done.
But that's very, very specific in terms of like the
Another
person's
time, a
going.
guy, we were just randomly, he said something about like moaning or something. I was like, "Bro, I've
I
known you
remember you
two
told me
weeks
about
and
that.
you're talking." It's just like, oh, what's wrong with y'all? Like, what
Okay.
is wrong with you?
So I
What?
remember us talking about this, and I remember bringing up the fact that you got to read the room, right? You definitely got to read the vibe, and you can't just assume that you need to make the first comment about something like that, and then the person will tag along. You got to see if that's where you're at. Like,
Just vibe. Like we're talking about music or something. Like
mhm.
it's just it's I mean, to me, I feel like some stuff is just common sense. Especially if we met out in a situation where we're able to vibe a little bit, we exchange them. Clearly, we're feeling each other. We're both grown. Sex may come up somewhere down the road. Just chill, just relax. Let us continue to get to know each other. It's
Sometimes, all right. So there's a comment here that says, "OMG, he was joking. He could have been
I don't
trying to
like those
break
type
the
of
ice."
jokes. I don't like them type of
It's
jokes.
true. He
Don't
could have
joke
been
like that
joking,
with me.
but he doesn't know
Well,
that.
now he knows. Now he knows. Now he knows. Bro, you didn't ask me
there,
anything.
there could have been not for the one on the dating app. That one was kind of like, bruh, I just told you I don't even know what animal it is, and now you're asking me like,
Am I a
if
wild beast? Am I a wild beast? What?
and it
Sir.
was if the it is the thing, right? There's something in general about jokes for all of y'all. If a joke is good, you get away with it. If it's not, it's gonna upset people. No, if the joke actually
You're
was
not going to get
good and
away
it
with
landed, then
any
maybe
sexual joke like, if this was a face to face conversation, this would have been a
yeah.
minute into the conversation. You're not getting away with no sexual joke with me. And what, like, what?
Oh man. All
No.
right. Well, Joanne says you're not getting away with none of them. So
Go joke with your
I
mama.
say,
Go play with your mother. Okay. I'm sorry. Uh-uh.
oh my God. Oh, too funny. Too funny. See, what is going on with my mic? I do not know what's going on today,
Jason,
y'all.
it's in your head.
It's not because
It
I can
is.
hear that I'm not hearing myself in the mic. I
But
can
I can, you're,
trust me when I do the editing, I hear the difference. It
okay.
sounds like I'm in a can, right now without the microphone. But when I have the microphone, can you imagine the sound of that like being inside of a can? That's what it sounds like.
I don't know why
So
that's funny.
I need to get this thing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. My bad, y'all. Technical difficulties. Hello,
Last
hello,
week, my
hello,
dog
hello,
had to go
hello.
take a bathroom break. This week, he got technical difficulties.
Sound like a lot of hating going on. I don't know if y'all
No,
can hear
oh, I'm
that.
sorry. I was thinking out loud.
Oh, people should really do that to themselves. That's why it's called thinking. Hello, hello, hello. Can
Hi,
you hear
hi,
me now?
hi. Yep.
Okay. All right. That sounds a little bit better. A little bit. All right. Let's let's read some of these comments too. All right. But in all seriousness, I do not appreciate the topic of sex upon first meeting a guy. Total turnoff. Now we got to be specific though on what first meeting is. Like, are we talking about first time or second time? Few conversations in, because you said 2 weeks. So how many
I also,
conversations happen in two
I
weeks?
mean, okay, to be fair, there's no real timeline on when you can start talking about sex. But
Mm-hmm.
like you said, read the room.
Mm-hmm.
If we haven't even really gotten flirty, like, don't be, you know what I'm saying? Don't be like
Yeah, I might
talking.
not. Yeah, I might not be there yet.
We're not there yet. And I also hate when men comment on my body.
Hmm.
To me, that's hand in hand with like bringing up sex too early. If we're already at that level, whatever, we're already at that level. But don't be like ogling me and talking about, oh my God.
Now, does that also have levels to it? The body, like, because complimenting complimenting can go a lot of different ways, right? So you could compliment somebody and say they look nice, or you like the
Yeah,
way
but
that
don't be
dress looks,
like,
or
oh my
whatever on
God, your
them.
breasts are so, oh, your
Well,
ass,
but
that ain't
see,
like,
again,
mm-mm.
there's a way to do that. Exactly. Just like I'm just being honest with you. Like, there's a way to do it to where
I
it's
don't
still
like
a
it.
compliment. I get it. Okay. All right.
I don't like it.
If y'all don't know how to do it, then don't do it. That's all I'm
Even
gonna say.
like discuss like, oh, your thighs, or I hate that shit. I be like, okay, you're however old years old, and you're still uh excited at thighs and breasts. Okay,
I
we're
mean,
back
now
in
hold on.
kindergarten, I
Now
guess.
we shouldn't be shamed for liking a woman's body
I'm
though.
ashamed. You can like it, but why can't like,
To
you
comment
know what
on
I'm
it is a
saying?
different story.
I don't
But
like that.
to say that we still should not be attracted to it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. You
Okay.
should not be so excited to the point that you really can't even keep it to yourself.
Mm.
Like, I could be walking by and be like, in my head, like, wow, that guy's package. Like, if I could see a print, I'm not gonna be like, oh, your print. Like, I'm not in kindergarten. I could say this in my head and think like, oh, okay, all right, I see. And this is just me in my mind. I don't have to verbalize this.
Got you.
You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I guess it's a personal thing. I don't like it.
Another comment says there's so much more to get to know about a person within those first couple weeks other than sex.
I agree, 1,000%. And if sex is all that the person is there for, I like to get that out the way in the during the first date. That conversation is being had, not necessarily like, "Or are you just looking for?" But I ask, like, "Are you looking for a relationship? Like,
Oh,
what are you
absolutely.
out here for?" So if you tell
Mhm.
me, "Yeah, I'm open to a relationship. I'm out here, I'm meeting, blah, blah, blah," then that's what I'm gonna think that we're taking this. We're gonna see if we're compatible enough to be in a relationship. So I
Mhm.
would not expect that the very next week you're on some like, I want to hear you moan. Yeah, sir. I'm not.
I
My
have my
favorite
own.
color is pink. Yeah, you.
I have my comments about that, but being that I don't know everyone's level of conversation skills, I'm gonna leave those to myself because I don't want people to think that they can do it and they really don't know how to do it. So, and this is not
That's
me
them shooting
saying like,
themselves in the foot.
well, we had that conversation too about people talking themselves out of pussy. So I don't want you to go in there thinking, you're being clever or, whatever, and then you end
And the
up
whole time she's like, "This nigga's never gonna hear from me again.
exactly. So you know what?
He
Just
is
don't do
never
it.
hear from me again."
Just don't do it. Don't even try to be smooth or try to be cool, try to be clever. If you're not a comedian, yeah, don't try to put out jokes like that. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it to yourself until you guys have built a certain type of rapport that allows that to happen. Because once the rapport is there for that, and she shows that all right, she's willing to have those kind of conversations or even make those kind of jokes or whatever, then it's easy at that point. You just kind of play off of each other's energy. But I don't know. Man, my sound still feels funny.
She
I'm
said,
so upset. All right. Anyway, All right, we're gonna go to these questions. All right, I'm gonna sound crazy, but we're gonna go to the questions because it's all
You
about
sound crazy to yourself.
that is not wrong. Not wrong at all. All right, so we have another comment that says, "Yes, read the room, feel me out, pay attention to our dialogue. Let's gradually get there. Verbal foreplay in a sense. Okay, well, be careful with verbal foreplay because that could be taken some different ways. But I understand what you're saying. I agree. Let the conversation make its way there naturally. Um, well, look, y'all just got some game that I guess a lot of women do not like. In case you thought that they did, they don't like the jokes about, or the sexual innuendo type of jokes early on before you guys have actually gotten that far in the conversation or in the actual relationship.
There be
So,
so many gems and cheat codes being dropped in these podcasts, in
hey,
these episodes. If y'all not taking notes, men,
and women, because I'm here for
yeah,
y'all too.
mostly
I'm here for
men,
the
but
notes.
mostly men, but you know.
I got the notes for y'all, ladies. Don't worry. Be paying attention to what I'm saying too. Oh man.
Come on,
Um,
man.
I-
My Boosie said, "Come on, man. Come on.
oh my
Help your men
god.
out first. Don't worry about us. Help your brothers out,
No,
okay?"
I think all of us as a whole, this is something actually I made a comment on this. Somebody had a video yesterday, right? On IG. They were responding to a dude. I don't know if you've seen this video. This dude who has his shirt off. He looks like he's in a truck or something. And he's like, he was saying that he was saying how a lot of I guess he was responding to a lot of the gurus out there. There's this movement called the manosphere or something like that, and and apparently that has a whole movement going. And with that movement, there's a lot of like women bashing and saying how women are kind of like modern women are this, that, and the other, and they've lost their way and they need guidance and all that other stuff, whatever. And the dude was
Oh,
responding to
save
that.
us. Save us.
And he was responding to that and saying that, you know, he understands that side where, there are things that women can work on and stuff like that. But we as men too need to take responsibility for a lot of our behavior as well. And I chimed in and I totally agree. Like, it's not a one-sided thing. It's not a men versus women thing. It's not, battle of the sexes. We need to get out of that mindset because we can do a lot more together than we can apart. And the more we're looking at it as, oh, it's you or it's you, you're pointing fingers outwards and not looking within at the stuff you can fix within, you're going to keep running into the same cycle. I'm not talking about anybody in the comments or Joanne, obviously. I'm talking in general to always look within first for what you can do better, as opposed to placing that blame outside, outside of yourself. But um, yeah, we got some more comments coming in. Uh, do you have one-liners that you use to spark a conversation with the woman you're interested in? No. I consider that to be like game. I don't do game. You
So
know me,
what's your
Joanne. I'm honest. My one-liner would be considered. I find something. I'm very attentive, and so it's kind of easy for me to find things that I like, and I compliment on things I like, or I bring that up. For
so you go for
example,
a compliment and then
not always a compliment. Could always be. It could be a conversation starter based on what's happening. Um, you might have did something, and I noticed that you did it, and I might be like, "Don't worry, nobody saw that," or something like. It could be whatever. It's very, you know, in the moment and whatever. What really? What's that face for?
no, because one liners are corny. Someone hit me
I
with
no, I
a
agree.
liner in New York, and I was like,
I just do conversation starters.
yeah,
It could be a compliment. It could be a comment, but it's not like me saying something and then I'm like, "So, what's your number?"
that's
No,
your typical move.
no. Like, I don't. I feel like, believe it or not, a lot of times I've made comments to women and then that's it. Like that's that's where it ends. Like I don't.
Jesus
I
said he
didn't say
don't
no
need
more.
game.
None of y'all do.
My dog
Y'all
said,
don't.
"Oh, we know we don't need
No,
game.
no,
We
no,
gotta
not
tell the
you.
women
I'm not
that. We
saying
already know.
you.
We
Not
already
the
know
women.
that.
I'm talking to the guys out there. None of
Women
y'all
are the
need
game.
game.
Okay, we're please.
None of y'all out there need game. Okay, trust me.
Some of
If you
them do.
guys are,
Women just subliminally.
no, y'all don't. Y'all don't. If I could teach a class on this, I would say start with something that you notice. That's it. Start small. Start easy. Start small. Something you notice. It could be hair. It could be. I've complimented women on their hair, on their nails, whatever. If it really is something that I notice and that I like. If it's not, then I'm not gonna make a comment on it. But if so, then yeah, start right there. And then if you want to keep the conversation going, then keep the conversation going. It may not even end with you asking for the number. Just remember that you're going for a conversation, not for a number. Anyway, that's the game. If y'all want the game, just talk for the sake of talking, for connecting. So we have another comment by Jan Diago. No need to talk about sex with women. It ruins the mood with them. This is what I've come to realize. No subliminals needed.
1,000%.
All right. Y'all hear it.
Correct.
Y'all hear it.
1,000% correct. And then that
And
gets to a point where she's gonna start dropping innuendos.
exactly. Again.
That's your invitation. But even then, don't jump out the window. Okay. Like, oh shit, like relax. Match her level.
Exactly.
Maybe take it up a little bit, but don't be like, hey, like, it'd be like, oh man, here we go.
Oh my God. That's exactly what I was saying from the beginning. It's like if you let
Read the room is the
read
key phrase.
read the room, right? Once remember, you're doing all of this for pretty much for the first time, like before you've had a sexual encounter with this person. After that, fine. You guys already have passed that. So now you don't have to you don't if you don't feel comfortable like letting her lead in that sense, you don't have to. But for the first one, if you actually want her to go where you want her to go, then let her be the one to decide that, not you. You go a lot longer of a way when you let a woman tell you when she's ready to, what I'm saying, like
Read the
whatever.
cues too.
Read the cues. Some people can't read the cues, so I can't say that to everybody, but some people really cannot read cues.
No, I know. I'm aware. I am aware. Okay, I know. I know.
Oh man. But that's yeah. I agree with Jan Diago that that's what it is, and apparently Joanne agrees as well. Just chill, man. Chill.
Please read Rebecca's comment.
And nothing more unattractive than excited ninja. Like he ain't got the box before.
Can we
Why
pin
that
that? Is
face?
there a way to? Because it's like it's literally the thought process. I'm like
Oh,
you're well into your 30s. There's no way.
but I feel like there's a
Stuff
story
just be
attached to this.
so common sense to me.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's like are you really that pressed for sex? Like you just can't wait? Because I'm telling you, there's no girl. I mean, I don't know many women that's going to continue to talk to you on the phone, go out with you, spend time, and there's not like an attraction there.
Hmm.
Like just chill. Just relax. Just relax. It's so funny we're talking about this too, because I just, how Facebook will tell you like you have memories or whatever. So apparently I posted this thread a couple years ago where it was like, let me see if I can find it, where it was like, how men will ruin a situation by talking about sex too early.
Hmm.
And damn it. Okay, here it is. Like, I hate when guys use a non sexual question to segue into sex. Him, what's your favorite color? Me, LOL pink. Him, is that the same color as your panties?
Now you see
This is what
again,
I'm talking about. Like, it's a whole thread of stuff. And people are like, oh, it's so extra. No, it's not extra. These are real conversations that are being had.
but can we also admit that? uh, there's no skill, conversation skill there either. Like there's no, you gotta have some type of like skill of
Do
like
you
how
know
to talk to
how
people.
often? So, are you just saying that the majority of men have no conversation skills?
It's possible that there's that as well. There's
Well, I
that
have
as
no
well.
rebuttal for that. I have no rebuttal for that. I have
I
none.
mean that also. I'm
Because
not
it
saying that's the only
makes
issue.
no, it's just like, I, I mean, I'm always so disappointed. Like, I could really be feeling a guy like, I like him. Let me tell you, if I give you a nickname, I like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, his name, whatever.
I thought she was about to give me one. Damn.
No.
No, not me. I'm saying
Not
I
on
thought she was
Beyonce's
about to.
internet. Not on Beyonce's internet, boo boo.
I thought she was about to
Absolutely not.
slip.
Not
Damn.
on
Okay.
me. Slip. But then it's just like, it's the feeling is literally,
Just like that.
I got to give you back to the streets. Like Summer Walker
Damn.
said, here you go. Back
Damn.
you go. Out of here. It's so disgusting. It's so disheartening. It's like, you're a grown ass man and you cannot carry a conversation for a week or two without bringing it to some type of sexual point. It's sad.
The conversational skills is one part of it. I do think also that there's a
So you
hyper.
don't
We
have
live in a hypersexual society as well.
so you don't have conversation skills. Do you just default to sex?
We're
You
also
don't default to sports. You don't
no.
default to video games. You're defaulting to sex.
How many women do you know who are into sports and video games? I
I'm
said
not
how
interested.
many? Yeah. You're kind of into sports. You're into some sports.
I'm into the Miami Heat. Okay, don't
Exactly.
ask me
That's about
about
it.
any other
Can I
team.
ask you about the Marlins? Yeah, exactly.
But I do support all Miami teams. But don't ask me anything about that.
Okay, so my point is not to say that you should default to sex. No, no, that's not what I'm saying. I was answering your question because I can't let something go without a rebuttal. But what I was going to say was we're also living in a hypersexualized society
I can agree
where
with that.
you know you could watch porn on Twitter. You know what I'm saying, on your phone. So from what I've heard, I haven't seen it, but this is what I hear. I'm being real with you. I really have not seen it, and it
Okay.
kind of blows my mind that
Do
you
you
can.
watch porn?
Not really. I'm not into porn.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying that last time. But you
Yeah,
don't watch porn.
it doesn't really. I used to watch it as like entertainment and kind of like trying to learn before
I
I
remember
like started
somebody
getting into
asked me that
sex.
recently. He was like, "What do you search for on Pornhub?" And I never responded.
Was that also an early conversation? Like
It was not an early conversation, but we don't talk about those type of things. So
we as in
me
as
and him,
women, or oh, you and him?
no,
Okay,
me and
gotcha.
him, like we like, where did this come from? Okay,
So y'all was cool,
yeah,
but not after that.
I just ignored it, and I think he
Okay.
got the picture. No, he didn't, because he
I
asked
was
me
gonna.
again. But still, and that's the other thing. Like, no, I did not see your question. I'm ignoring
See, so
it.
that could have been
For who?
learning lesson for him. Like, hey, you don't need to ask me that question, and then he would have got it.
You should probably teach a class. Conversation skills for dummies.
It doesn't have to be for dumb.
It's for dummies. It's for idiots. Conversation skills for idiots.
Don't worry, you will not be in charge of my marketing. Because
I will have you a sold out room, okay?
they might not be the people I want though. If they
But it's the
responding.
people you need. But it's the people who need you, Jason. May not be the people you want, but it's the people who need you. Okay? They need your help.
Oh my god, that is funny. Oh man, whew, that is something. Well, okay, so don't talk about sex so early on, y'all. Just chill. You made a very good point. You and my cousin made a great point in terms of act like you've been there before, man. Please, because that's something that the whole thirst thing. That's where it came from, right?
Let me
It
tell you,
comes
a
from.
man who's nonchalant to me, and I mean not nonchalant in terms of how he feels about me, but a man who's not pressed, my God. Let me tell you, gentlemen, men, whatever. If you're already taking notes, this is another one.
Hmm, Jim. Go ahead.
Not being pressed will get you the box so much quicker than being pressed.
May
If
I
you
please
act
get a
like,
high five? Please.
if you're
All right.
acting like, man, you give it to me, don't give it to me, whatever. Like, if that's what you want, bro, what? I promise you. Cause now she like,
Ah,
you like,
I'm not
I'm
even gonna add to
telling you,
this.
this is free game.
I am not gonna even add to
Don't
this.
I could tell you, like, I remember I always say that I'm terrible at shooting my shot. Like, I'm gonna throw subliminals at you. That's me. That's what I do.
Hmm.
That's how I'm gonna shoot my shot. And I thought I was shooting my shot, and he didn't really bite. So I was kind of like, all right, whatever. Then like months later, something came up, and I said, well, I was trying to shoot. He's like, yeah, I knew you were shooting your shot. He was like, but I wasn't going to try to be thirsty. And I was like, huh, oh, like I was like, ooh, listen, do not be. I don't care how bad you inside, like just do not be pressed.
Let
Don't
me
be pressed.
and for a way that maybe y'all could understand better for the guys out there.
Yes, break it
Um,
down for the dummies. Yes,
it ain't for the
Jason.
dummies.
Break it down
These are
for
for
the
people
idiots,
that maybe don't
Jason.
know any better. All right, look, let's hear me out. So you have to be so nonchalant about it that you're okay with like with the chance of missing out on the pussy because you did not act on it. You have to be that nonchalant because if you
And it
care
will
too
spin
much
the
about
block.
it,
It will spin the block. You're not gonna miss. Let me tell you. Listen,
I
listen.
say, oh well, you're this and that, or you know this and that. Let me tell you something. I don't know that much more than most people. Honest, that's not what gets me.
I think you were breaking up, Jason.
So that's not really what's going on.
You were frozen a little bit there. I don't know if that was
I
just on my
was.
end.
No, actually, I did. I went in and out. I don't know how or
Yeah, I
why,
was
but
frozen.
are you back now? Can you see
I
the
can see and
phone?
hear you, but whatever your last little spiel was, we didn't get that, or I didn't
Oh,
get
you
that.
didn't? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Let me go at it again. What I was saying was, I'm trying to get my train of thought. Hmm. I wonder what's going on. Okay, let me look at my internet, y'all. My bad. My internet's all the way full. Ah, yeah. I see you said frozen. Hold on, y'all. We are having a couple of issues. Join.
You're back. A little frozen still.
Y'all, we gonna get it together.
I think we lost Jason. Let me see. So while we're waiting for him to come back on, I'll answer your question. Rebecca says, "Do you feel comfortable complimenting the man? And if so, when do you do it?" Yeah, I do. I typically will do this if I have like liquid courage. If I'm just over like somewhere, I'm very shy. I won't say anything. But if I've had a few drinks and I'm feeling nice, my go-to, and I only do this if it's true, I'll be like, "You smell really good." So that's probably the only compliment I think I've ever given, like as a shoot your shot. Like I'm like, "You smell really good." Um, yeah, I do other silly stuff. Like the last time I shot my shot and was successful, like I was accidentally bumping into him at like this party. It worked.
Did it
I mean,
though?
it worked.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm not. I'm way too shy to shoot my shot, and even then, like I only shot my shot because my niece was like texting me, like, "Girl, if you don't,"
Oh, so the
and I was like, "Yeah,
competition.
he's cute," and I was like, "Let me." Like I'm dancing, but I'm like, "Oh, excuse me, pardon me." It
Fellas,
works.
fellas, I hope y'all taking notes, man.
You sound low, Jensen.
I sound low.
Yeah,
This is what I've been sounding like the whole time to me.
but it doesn't sound like you're in a can. It just sounds low, like you need to put the volume up.
Nah, the mic volume's already up. Something is not connecting correctly. All right, so I'm gonna apologize in advance, y'all, for the bad sound or the bad audio when this comes out. Let me see if I can put the volume up. If that'll change anything, I don't think it will. Hello, 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 hello.
You sound good.
Oh, I still can't hear myself that well. All right. Anyway,
No,
um,
the volume is perfect now.
all right, y'all. I'm gonna try to stay in this position exactly and not move
Do
until I
not
can
move.
figure it out. I'm not gonna move my neck or nothing. It's just gonna be just like this. So this
Don't
is what
move
I
the
have to say.
eyebrow either.
You sure? Is that gonna
Keep
mess
the
up the
eyebrow
connection?
right there. Don't
All
move.
right.
There it is,
All right.
right there.
So what I want to tell y'all, fellas, is
The
you gotta
eyebrow's
make
scaring me.
sure, you gotta make sure, you gotta make sure, honestly, though, that this is from before what we were saying. Like, you need to treat it as if you don't get it, it's okay. If you don't get sex, it's totally fine. And when you have that attitude, all right, now you're onto something. Now you're in a place where you're not. That's exactly what Joanne means by not being pressed. You're not pressed about whether you get it or not. You're gonna have a good night regardless. No matter what happens, no matter what she decides to do, you are gonna have a great time. And guess what? You know what I've learned? When you can create your own, you know, great energy or your own great time, people tend to be drawn to that. And so you don't need to try to like get somebody to come into your space or try to like, press somebody to come into your space. People will naturally gravitate towards you when you have an energy that's just free and just chilling, as opposed to somebody who's trying to get something. Please take that to the bank. I am giving y'all opportunities to stop missing out on sex if that's what you want. If you're trying to get it, then believe it or not, what you're doing is counterproductive. So that's all I got. Joanne has given more than enough information to, kind of
And I'm telling
alleged.
you, if you miss out on it, it will spin the block. It will, unless you both find yourselves in different situations, whatever the case is.
Mhm.
But
In which case it wasn't meant. And that's okay too.
exactly. But listen,
Don't be so pressed for sex.
do not be so pressed, bro. Y'all are not none. Do not be. I'm telling, like, I
That
don't know if
is that's
you
for
didn't catch
those of
me.
y'all for those
Go
of y'all
ahead.
out there who are not Haitian. That's fried plantains. All right, when they smack them together and then they make them flat and then they fry them. That's what banan is. If that's not you, then you need to stop being so pressed.
And I mentioned this on a previous episode. If a girl's feeling you when y'all meet, y'all have whatever exchange y'all have, and y'all take each other's numbers, whatever. You are at like 100 points or close to that. You got all the points. You have an A on this paper. You have an A on this paper. B plus at the worst.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you do after that deducts points from your score. You corny. You talking about sex? Like 5 points till it's kind of like, all right, he's not making the cut.
And
He
there's
ain't got
still
enough points.
and
He failed.
remind them again for those who didn't catch that the first time that there's a minimum. It's not like you got to be at
Oh,
100 to get it.
that's absolutely a minimum.
There's a minimum. So even if you lose some points, it's not the end of the
You can
world.
still redeem
You
yourself.
can redeem yourself. You can
But
still keep it.
y'all,
Just
listen, y'all starting at 100, like, or close to it. You just have to not fuck up. You're starting at like you already got an A on the paper.
stop stepping
First
on
day
them
you met,
spikes,
you got
yo.
an A.
Stop stepping on them spikes and losing all your coins. All right,
Bro, it's like Sonic the Hedgehog out
for
here.
real. Stop it.
What
It's
we
so.
say back in the day, stop at 5. For
it's
real.
it's funny. Like when it comes to
for at least for me, obviously, I'm at a more advanced age, so getting sex is not that important. But at the same time, too, I'm at an advanced age, so if I wanted to get sex, I could get it pretty easily because I understand certain things, and this is one of those things that if you are somebody who's a young person out there who has sex very high on the priority list for you in terms of when you go out or when you go to events, whatever the case may be, just be easy, be cool, chill, just chill.
It's so simple.
And women are
It's
women
so
are a lot more attracted
simple.
to somebody who is chilling and who looks like, and this is something I've told y'all before, desperation does not look good. Desperation does not translate well. Desperation is a very funky scent that not many people are attracted to. So if you got the scent of desperation all on you, you're not going to have great luck. You might be one of the people who might feel like you have to force your hand in order to make something happen. That's not the way to do it. I'm telling you right now, that's not the way to go. So just chill, chill. Women want to have sex just as much as we do. I'm gonna be real with y'all.
Need some confetti. Where's the confetti? I'm gonna have confetti ready next episode. I'm gonna have I'm just gonna hold it in my hand like this the whole show. Then
I'm telling y'all, they want it just as
men
much
are
as
so
we
stupid.
do.
I'm sorry, but if I sit like the amount of pussy that y'all talk yourselves out of,
Oh
it's
man.
sad. I'm not just talking about myself. Like me and my homegirls, we talk all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like, man, he did this, he did that. You be like, oh man, he one of those. Man, he did that. Well, eh, hmm. Another one bites the dust. Like y'all are just done. Yeah, if y'all knew the power, and I keep seeing these memes like, oh, women don't listen. Women, if men knew the power of just shutting the fuck up.
Another bar.
Wow.
This is a repeat bar, y'all, from another
Wow.
episode. In case y'all missed it the
Wow.
first time.
If y'all just knew the power. And if just err on the side of caution. Like, damn, I don't know if this is gonna go wrong. Just shut up. Don't say it. Shut the fuck up.
If your goal is getting to the sex, then yes. If your goal is showing who you truly are, then
Sure.
say
I mean,
whatever
but I'm not
say
at
whatever
all
comes to your
promoting
mind.
you to be deceptive.
I mean, neither. All I'm saying is that sometimes it's better not to say everything that's on your mind. If your goal if your goal is sex. Remember when we had that episode and I talked to you about the stupid stuff that I've said and how when I
Yeah.
said what I said, I never got a second chance. I wasn't mad about that. Like I said, I was okay with with the fact that I might not that might not be received well. But it was more important for me to show who I was truly and be truly me versus not saying anything so I can get sex for the second time. But if your goal is different, you should
I feel like
probably
that was
just
shady.
chill.
Like, haha, bitch, I already hit.
Nah,
I'm just
not
playing.
at
I'm just
all.
playing. I know you're not shady, but
It's like, nah, not at all. It was more like, man, I want to share this with somebody, but she just wasn't the person to share with. And that's okay. That was an experience. That's fine. Social experiment. If I can't live it, then I can't tell you not to do
so
it.
let me ask you a
You
question. Has a woman ever talked herself out of sex with you?
know?
No, now I need specifics. That giggle said a lot.
Talk no. I can't
Well,
remember a woman
not
talking.
talk, but did
Well,
something that.
for guys, it's more of what they say as opposed to what they do. Mostly for guys, but I think for me and women, it's more about what they do. So I think I've mentioned this before. There was a situation in the past, where uh, there's
The
a
girl who
sit.
farted on you?
No, I told you I had no problem with that. Like that was a funny moment to be honest, and I think we did it after that anyway. So but anyway, so there was a situation where I was at an event and uh two women were interested in me, right? Who were at the event, but they were making it very obvious and just kind of coming off as just like you said, I like a woman
But
who's gonna
you
be more
mentioned
chill.
this situation before, but you didn't indicate that you were open to it. You didn't.
Nah, I might have talked about the most recent situation, but
Oh, there
this
was
is a different.
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So
Jason just got multiple women throwing themselves
nah,
at him
nah, nah,
all the
nah,
time.
nah. One of them was a repeat. So, um, who was actually in the first situation? But the women, like, they kind of were. I'm not gonna say being too obvious, but being. We just talked about it. I like people to be more chill. I like you to give me enough signs for where I could do something with it, but I don't. I also don't want you to be like, all on me.
Obvious.
I don't want you to be all on me, especially at a party. At a
So,
party, I'm still single, so don't
were you open to
definitely.
both of these women?
At one point, I was open. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
I was open to it, but I don't like when people do the whole like your mind thing. Once they do that, oh, I'm totally turned off. I don't
Territorial.
want. I hate. Let me repeat this for y'all, just for any women that might wonder about certain people, maybe just people like me, maybe not every man. I don't know. The whole territorial thing, you're mine, or like nobody's gonna get to you. It's
Had you been with both of them before, or just one of
not.
them?
I never been with either of them.
So how
So
were they
I
both
got
being
to,
territorial?
they were both doing passive aggressive things that kind of. But
That's very interesting.
the one I already knew would do that because
I'm sorry.
we had
Let's back up. You knew both of these women previously.
no, just one of them previously. The other one I met like
That
that
night,
weekend. No, that weekend.
but you met her before the party,
Yeah.
and she was being territorial.
Not territorial. She was just doing things that was kind of like just showing me that she was, that those level of interest. But the other one was being more territorial. But I knew that the other one would be like that because we've had extensive conversations, and honestly, she was being who she said she was. So I wasn't
Well,
like
you got
mad
to give
about that.
her, you know.
Exactly. I wasn't mad about that. My whole thing was maybe you should not have come if you was gonna be like that.
I know that's right.
Because if you know you're gonna be like that, I don't
I
need
know
that
that's right.
I don't need that in my energy space. I don't need that in my
Let me
life.
tell you something about Joanne, baby.
Go ahead.
I'm territorial in my mind,
Oh,
but
okay.
at the party, do you, boo? Do you just don't try to come back? Let me tell you. And I've been in this situation with Mr. Like, the one that I told you I was going to play party.
Yeah.
We was at an event, and I was, but because he knew how listen, this is someone who has very explicitly said, like, I don't like PDA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like people in my business. Which just to me, it's just code for you a hoe because you don't want people
No,
knowing
that's
that
not
you're
true.
Yes, okay. In general, it might not be true. It's true in this case. So fine. You told me everything beforehand. You don't like people in your business. Let us not be out, and you all up on me. Da, da, da. Cool, no problem. But and I'm saying this as humbly as possible. I know the type of attention I get when I'm out. So we out. I didn't know he was gonna be there, and niggas was doing what they was. I'm talking about buddy text. Come sit next to me in my section. I'm like, okay, but this is at the time. He was like, oh, that's how I felt about him. So I'm in. But
Oh
even
my
then, I
god.
walked into his section and I was still playing it cool. Like it's a section. No one would know who's
Mm-hmm.
he all like, oh, what you playing on your phone? Oh, in my hair. And I'm like,
Mm.
sir, we have had so many conversations about this to the point where like almost arguing,
Mm-hmm.
where like I, keep the speaking in public to a minimum. I'm like, oh, you got hoes out here. I'm like, okay, cool. Nigga, I would come to a place and act like I don't know you.
Wow.
Sure enough. Let me tell you, when I say it always it spins because I'm gonna make you eat your words. I'm going to make you now you want to be up on me. You all in my neck and my back. Wait, what happened? What happened?
Hey,
Watch me
look,
talking to me.
that might be a particular type of guy, y'all.
No, he's definitely a particular type of guy.
Okay.
He's absolutely a particular is such a good child. My best friend said he's retarded, and he might be. Anyways,
because for me, I feel like if I expect that if I'm talking to a woman who's attractive, obviously she's gonna get attention from other people.
If we're not together like that, dating, I could be in a spot and just like why this bitch talking to my man? You would never know. You would be shocked. Like what? That's why I wouldn't even.
That's how you
You would
felt.
never
That's how
know.
the person would. That's how the person
You
would be
would
like,
the
"Oh
person
shit,
would
that's."
never know that that's what I was thinking. I'm not gonna say shit. I'm not even gonna keep looking in your direction.
I tell you one thing though. If I do see a bunch of dudes trying to holler at you, I'm definitely gonna give you the eye for later. Like, oh, when we get out of here, I'm gonna show you what it really is. Like these dudes could say this, that, and the other, but you know what I'm gonna do to you later though. And that's real. That's something I would do because there is a competitive nature in me, but I'm not jealous though. Like get your dances in, get whatever,
Even
get your
like if
attention
I'm
because you
out
deserve it.
with like female friends and they start acting territorial towards a guy that they've dealt with, I'm like, I be having a, and it's somebody in specific, but I'm not gonna say anything because she might be watching. I don't want nothing. I'm putting her out there, but I would be like, girl, you doing this all wrong. Do not show this man that you are bothered.
True.
Don't look in their
Well,
direction.
you talking about a whole nother game.
It's
You
not
talking
even a
about
game. Listen, the way I feel about it is we have not established that we're in a relationship. We still talking. You might be dating other people. I might be. Do you? Like I said, you could be dying on. I could be dying on the inside. I'm not saying shit, and I be having to tell my friends, like, I like, don't be in there acting crazy. Be so nonchalant that he's gonna be like, damn, she don't fuck with me like that no more. She don't care. Like what the
And for those of y'all that can actually feel nonchalant on the inside and outside because it helps your own personal like mental well-being. It helps you.
I am who I am. Okay, I listen.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about for those of y'all out there. If you can be nonchalant on the inside too, hey, go with that because you will have a much better time. Trust me. Trust me.
Listen,
but I like.
I've never met a guy who has told me, "Oh, yeah, I'm nonchalant," and acted on it. Every single guy that I've ever talked to, dealt with, or whatever, who has said that or come off that way, always eats their words.
I don't eat words. I just eat food and other things.
I know that's
but hey man, everybody's not everybody. So respect.
I'm gonna give you what you want, boo. I'm gonna give you what you want.
I think that's really cool though. Like when you're out and y'all have something, whether it's casual, whatever y'all have, but it's not like official. Y'all not together, and nobody else or very little people know, and other guys definitely don't know. Other women don't know, and so everybody just like kind of. Why not? I think it's fun.
I think it's fun to a certain extent. If guys are on me and that turned you on, yes. I don't want to see you talking to no bitch. I don't want you dancing with no bitch.
So wait a minute.
Hold on. Whatever. I don't care.
We've had that conversation before, so fair enough. Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe it's not gonna be fun with you, but
you would never know. I'm not gonna say nothing to you. Not at the event, not after. I'm not saying
you
nothing.
Don't say it, don't mean you don't feel it.
But you would never know. I'm not gonna act funny towards you. I'm not gonna give you an attitude. Nothing.
If we're in a situation, let's say me and you are in a situation where we're honest with one another and open, and we actually communicate.
Honest don't mean that I have to tell you my every thought. It means I don't lie to you.
Not every thought. I would ask. I would say, hey, was there any issues with, the fact that,
Why would you ask something like that?
Because I would actually care if that bothered somebody or not, obviously.
If you're dealing with someone, y'all land at an event, y'all playing it cool, whatever, and you have no indication that she's bothered. If you look over at her, she looks like she's having a great time. You like genuinely, you do not think she's bothered. You would still ask that question?
Maybe not. Maybe not. It depends on how much we've talked about before that, because I might already know certain things about her personality that lets me know, even though she didn't show it, based on what you've told me, that might have been a problem, or some of that might have been a problem, or a portion of that might have been an issue. So depending on how much I know about you beforehand, like I didn't find out maybe certain things with certain people until after an event. Luckily, I was, on my best behavior. And, it was all good, but it could have went a different way to where I would have been having that conversation afterwards. Like, was there anything that I did that was kind of like, not out of line, but like kind of bothered you a little bit or whatever the case may be, but whatever. We didn't get to that. So it's fine, but it could very well get to that. So I am hoping everybody learned something because man, you talk about, we really just gave y'all a TED Talk worth of dating and
But it's literally,
how to
it
get
all
sex.
boils down just to one thing:
Chill.
shutting the fuck up.
That
Like, it
and
all
chilling.
boils down to just
Actually, you could
chilling
talk. You
until
could
shutting the
talk.
fuck up.
You could talk.
Nah.
Just when you talking, just it ain't gotta be about sex. That's all. There's so many other things like being me perfectly says that people can talk about around, besides sex. I'm a sexologist and I could talk about things other than sex. So I'm sure y'all could figure some other stuff to talk about. Like maybe that is something that, we need to work on is conversational skills and how to have conversations about things
How to
outside
have
of.
conversations with a woman you're interested in without talking about sex.
Man, you see now I
Here's
like
a
that
list of
title. I
topics.
like that title.
Here's a
Why
list
don't
of
you give why
topics.
don't you give us some?
The
Go ahead.
weather.
The weather, really? The weather?
I would much rather a man say, like, "Oh, it's some weather we're having," than been like, "Oh, what color are your panties?" Like,
Now you gotta remember, you gotta admit, you're giving examples that are very like there's no subtlety at all. There's no smoothness.
there
There's
is
no,
no subtlety at all, Jensen.
but
You think
there's
I'm making this up?
I know I believe you. What I'm saying though is there are situations where it might be a little bit more subtle, a little bit more along the lines of like within the conversation. It might be to where it's kind of like you heard it, but you're like, you crazy or you tripping. Not like, did you really say that? Like, because those are two different things. Can we admit that at least? Like, are those the color of your panties? Is not there's on no level is that smooth or is that something that somebody wants to hear. You know what I'm saying? Unless y'all are sexting or this is what the conversation is already. Like it's just a stupid comment. It's a dumbass comment. Like no matter in most contexts is dumb. So I think we could admit that, right? At least, maybe, possibly, maybe. Oh, so you're not gonna give me that. You're not gonna give me that.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
that's fine.
not
That's fine.
like
That's okay because again, like I said, I
it's
rather people just not say anything about it, especially if you don't know what you're doing, as opposed to trying to be smooth or trying to be cool with it and end up saying some
I
shit that
can't
turns
say
somebody
anything
off.
about because it's personal.
True.
They might meet someone who has absolutely no problem with it, and
Maybe.
there are people that, like,
Maybe, but maybe somebody else who doesn't have the most conversational
I
skills.
know that that's the case because there's other times where I will completely stop talking. I mean, not even sometimes. Like, I will absolutely completely stop talking to you if I feel like you brought sex up in any type of way too soon. And I've been given that feedback that, like, man, all you should have did was just say, hey, like, I'm not. You brought that up too soon, and keep it going. Like, you ain't had to cut the person off. And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna cut the person off. Like, that's who I am.
Okay. Well, I'm not telling you shouldn't. I mean,
No, I'm just saying, like,
okay.
I'm just saying that there are people out there who are not as offended as someone else might be. Like me, who's not as offended as me. I'm offended.
Oh my god, this was hilarious, man. Oh, I think I had another question for you too. Um, okay, so for you, right? This goes along the lines of the same conversation. What, in your opinion, does constitute consent? Because it's such a kind of like a tricky topic, as we've been talking about. In the most ideal situation, what would constitute consent from, let's say, from a woman to her partner, right? What would constitute I'm ready or I'm into it or like let's go.
So, as I mentioned, like, earlier on in this episode, we discuss consent a lot, even amongst, like, my colleagues. We go to seminars just, like, literally on consent and things along those lines. It's such a slippery slope. It's
Mhm.
such a slippery slope. Excuse me. I think there are a few factors. Body language to me is one, because we primarily deal with young people. Intimidation is a huge factor. So one party might not even necessarily be, like, aggressive into it,
Mhm.
aggressively trying to get it, but that doesn't mean the other person isn't intimidated into saying yes.
Mhm.
So read their body language. If they're, like, kind of shut in and they're saying yes, but their body isn't really responding, that's a huge no.
Mhm.
Um,
How about reassurance of asking, like, hey, is this
so we
really
go by
something
the
that
Fries method.
okay?
So
Let me hear it.
Fries, child, listen, I'm glad nobody from work is watching this. Fries mean that consent is freely given,
Mm-hmm.
revocable.
Mm-hmm. I.
I don't remember what I was.
Mm-hmm.
E is enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what S
Yes.
was.
Okay. At least you know how to spell fries, which is good. I'm just saying, like, you could have forgot the
Hold on,
order
let
of the
me
letters
let
or
me
whatever. But what
Fries
Joanne's saying
consent.
is very important
Hold on, I got
because
it. Sorry.
okay, go ahead.
So F is freely given. R, it's reversible. This is the
Mm-hmm.
one that we also facilitate workshops for like grown adults.
Mm-hmm.
And when we say reversible,
People go crazy,
and I'm
huh?
gonna put it out there, it's the men. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I'm already in. I'm like, bro, your penis can be in her vagina, in his whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and they say no, stop. You stop. Oh man, but it's reversible. At any point, either one of you can say no.
Yep.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Very true.
So reversible, informed. I know it was informed, enthusiastic, and specific. So I might be saying yes to vaginal sex. That doesn't mean I'm saying yes to anal sex. So it's
Mm-hmm.
very specific. Um, the reversible one is the one that gets. I'm like, I don't understand what's so hard to understand about that. It gets kind of tricky because most of our training we follow actual cases. So there was a case where a woman met this man. They were at a party or wherever they were at. They were both drunk. They got high, had sex. It was consensual in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, she woke up. Oh my God, I regret this, and went to file a police report. He got arrested and this and that. So the person who was conducting this workshop that I was in was like, "Well, she didn't consent. She didn't consent." Da, da, da. And I said, "Well, I don't have sober sex." So this is me personally. I didn't say that, but I'm thinking about
Mm-hmm.
myself. Like, I don't ever have sober sex. So, what's to say that somebody's going to wake up? She's like, so we're going back and forth. And I could tell she's getting agitated to the point where she said, well, because I was like, so what if he woke up the next day and said, she was like, well, the woman happened to go to the police first. So I was like, basically, you telling me whoever went and filed the police report first is, and she was like, yeah, like, I don't know if she just was saying that to get me to shut up, but it in that moment, like we're looking at the case and everything, we looked up other cases that were similar to this, and it's really scary that you can be drunk, you can be high, you can be whatever, and you both are feeling it in the moment, and someone can wake up tomorrow and say,
I didn't want to do this.
damn,
Mm-hmm.
I was under the influence. Like we both were. So consent, when I say we do so much training on consent, and I'm still me, like I'm still like, man, I gotta scratch my head.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Err on the side of caution.
exactly.
If this is not
Exactly.
someone that, when it comes to being under the influence, if this is not
Mm-hmm.
someone that you've already, and even then it could be someone
Yep.
you've already had sex with, but like for sure, if this is someone you've never had sex with, y'all just met, like,
Hey, look, there have been maybe a couple times where like I could have pushed things, you know what I'm saying? But the person was under the influence, and I'm like, clearly right now they're not in a space where they would even remember this happened, or they would remember bits and pieces. Like they wouldn't even. So nah, it's not worth it. It's really not. And that's honestly the best way to go. And that goes back to not being pressed. If you're not pressed for sex, then it's not gonna matter either way. You're gonna be able to be
yep,
like, all right, well, I did want to have sex with this person, but they either said no, or they're under the influence, or they're not in a position to, and you could just move on with your life. Like let's stop this whole thing about like sex running the way you operate and the way you act and the way you behave. Like that can't be an excuse. You being horny can't be an excuse for you acting certain ways. And so
like your horniness and wanting, I guess, to relieve yourself or derive pleasure, whatever it is, like it's not worth the headache that's going to come after. And I cannot stress it enough. There's a video that we showed our workshop participants, whether they're youth or adults, and it's you can YouTube it. I don't know the exact phrasing, but if you look up T as consent or something,
mhm.
it's a really cool cartoon. It's maybe like a minute or so long, and it's talking about consent as it relates to T. It's a really, really good video. Like I love it. I can watch it all day. But we run into that sometimes where people be like, well, what if we've already had sex? So what if we had sex yesterday? Okay, today's a new day. They might not want to have sex with you today. And so consent is just, if you even have a shadow of a doubt in your mind that this person maybe doesn't really want to do it, or okay, so another situation that we discussed, and I found myself in a situation, and I think every adult in the room raised their hand that they found themselves in a situation, is to where like maybe you're kissing, you're making out with this person, y'all touching, and in your mind you really didn't want it to go anywhere else, but they're taking off their pants, they're this, they're that, and you're like,
Now you feel
maybe you didn't say anything,
pressured or
exactly. So if you ask the other person, they might be like, well, no, they didn't stop me, they didn't this, and you really didn't say anything, but did you really give consent? Did you, like, it's such a slippery slope. I don't have a definitive answer. I can just say like,
that's what I mean, y'all, when I say have conversations about sex. It's not have conversations about, again, what a person likes or what they want sexually. It's having a conversation about where are we sexually, or what we're willing, like where we're willing to go sexually. Are we in a place
and
where
don't
we
do the
both
bait
need
and
to
switch. We talk about the bait and switch often, where somebody
explain
might
that?
say like, oh, I'm just gonna give you head. You know what I'm saying? So they giving the person head, and it's usually men on women. Giving the girl head, whatever, whatever. She comes, and then you just take that opportunity to like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is not what I agreed to. I agreed to, getting some head. You know what
that's
I'm
a
saying?
specific part too.
And now you're pulling out the peanut. And even though the person may not have said no, it's like that's not what they agreed to. Removing a condom without the other person's knowledge is also revoking their consent. And I'm talking about, we talk to young people who this information is literally like blowing their minds. That is scary. And we have young people that come to us all the time and say, well, when you put it like that, I think I may have been in a situation where I was raped. I think I may have been in a situation where I was taken advantage of. You just have to be clear. If you're dealing with someone and you're not in your mind, like being honest with yourself, if you're not 100% sure that this person wants to, ask, are you okay with this? Hey, I'm about to take out this condom. It's all right.
That's the assurance thing. Yep.
And don't say it in a way like, to where where they feel like they can't give like an honest answer, but just say like, hey, are you okay with taking this to the next level? It might be a mood killer, but hey, at least you were at this step, you asked permission before you went to the next step, and you didn't just assume that they were with it.
Yeah, it's great advice.
Look up the T video.
Look up the T video, y'all, and I'll look it up as well. But if all else fails, ask questions and talk.
If all else fails, put on your pants and go home.
Yeah, and don't ever on either side be scared to say no, because there could be guys out there who may have gone through with it because they didn't want to hurt somebody's feelings, or same reasons, you know what I'm saying? And so don't be scared to be like, nah, I'm not really feeling it. I just told y'all a story last week where I had to hurt some feelings. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't do it with the intention of hurting feelings, but I wasn't going to put myself in a position where the next day I was like, damn, I shouldn't have did that, or I regret it. Because if I'm not under the influence, then who do I have to blame at that point? And it's not about, placing blame on yourself or beating yourself up. It's about knowing what you want in the moment and being honest with yourself and being okay with saying no. Because I think a lot of times saying no is frowned upon, and it's looked at as something that I think, especially unfortunately for women in different situations, it makes them look a certain way to guys. So don't be afraid to say no, man or woman, in any situation.
If they get mad, they get mad. Like,
exactly.
I've heard this too. Like, oh, well, I didn't say no because I thought he would stop talking to me.
Okay. Let me tell you something. If anybody would stop talking to you because you said no, you weren't ready to do something, you shouldn't be talking to that person.
And I always ask that. I said, well, why do you want to talk to somebody who wouldn't listen to what you want anyway? And there's never a rebuttal. They're always kind of like, but then again, we're talking about young people.
Yeah, young people.
Adults are the same way. Adults are the same way. And I don't think they realize, like, even begging, that's it's coercion and it's not freely given. If you're like,
Mm-hmm.
please, please, come on, man, please. You're not strong arming the person. You're not pinning them down, but you're begging to the point where they're just like, okay, that's not freely
It's another
given.
way,
You know what I'm saying? I use that please scenario anytime I'm giving a workshop. That please, please. I was like, as soon as they get to their second please, girl, get up and go. Because you're going to be hearing please all night until you leave or give in. Just leave at the second please. They're not going to stop.
Mm.
Please, 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 please. Nigga, please.
Again, y'all, don't be pressed. Don't be pressed, and don't let uh somebody else's heightened desire to get sex press you into doing
Absolutely.
something
Doing
you don't
something
want to
that
do.
you really don't want to do.
Don't,
Absolutely.
not at all. And again, I want to really emphasize the fact that this can be men or women in any situation. So please apply it to your life as needed and as necessary. um, don't be scared to say no. Some of us are blessed with the ability to say no without feeling bad about it. Other people, me as well, other people, maybe a little bit more empathetic towards how that makes other people feel and all that stuff. But if you can start practicing how to say no when you really want to say no, it'll help you out in a lot of different aspects in your life, not just, sexually, but you'll just get more of what you want out of life as opposed to giving into other people's requests and desires. So, damn, I think see, so we had a little bit of surface level, we had some depth, you know what I'm saying? There was a lot to take from this. If you didn't get it all, definitely replay it on the YouTube channel. Um, replay it as much or as often as you like. Don't forget to also listen to us on Spotify. Maybe you're headed to work, maybe you got a long commute, an hour and a half long commute, maybe, possibly y'all in the Bay Area and other areas, New York, maybe, what I'm saying, we got to take the train, maybe a couple hours to work. But, definitely download or listen to us on Spotify and wherever else you listen to your audio. And yeah, that would conclude today's episode. I think
This was a great
this is a good one,
conversation.
a really good conversation. It was a very important one too. So I'm glad we got to have it and we got to speak on it from
And if you all have additional questions on
perspectives.
consent, please hit me up. My at name is
Oh,
Mo.
let me put it.
You won't even.
No, it's because I was doing the comments. My bad.
So hit me up on Instagram if you need to. I could talk about this all day.
There
I
we go.
promise you, I have no issues with it. So
And if you have questions about not only consent, but questions about how to feel more at ease when it comes to, getting sex, holla at me because I could definitely show you how to be more nonchalant about sex and allow it to come to you as opposed to you chasing it. That's really what it comes down to. So, yeah, is there anything else you want to add, Joanne? I mean, anything
see y'all next week.
that we missed? Okay. Again, I want to apologize about the audio. I could definitely hear the difference now, and I hear how it was going in and out before. So, for y'all listening on Spotify or wherever else, it might change. And I apologize in advance. I will get that issue situated before the next episode. So, all right, y'all. Thank you to all the commenters in the comments. Hopefully, other people who are watching get in the comments too. We're not gonna bite.
Create those fake pages, guys, because I know
There
y'all
you
want to
go. And
comment.
you know
And
what? I was supposed to help somebody create a page, and I didn't get a chance to. So yeah, if you need somebody to help you, hit me up or whatever on IG or whatever, and I could try to help you create another account on YouTube. Not a fake account, of course, just another account. Another
so
account
you
that
can
you can
speak your
use.
mind freely.
Yeah, we want you to be able to speak your mind, ask your questions, and really comment how you're really feeling. Because I know there's people after the show that be like, "Oh, this is how I feel." I'd be like, "I can't help you now. I mean, you should have said it while we on the show." But I really want people to add what they want to add onto the show, and we love, love, love getting comments from you all. So if you can get on and share your thoughts, we'd really appreciate it. That's episode number 19 of the Sex Mechanic Podcast. Thank you again, Joanne, for joining me for another
Absolutely.
episode. And I will talk to you all later. Peace.